All right, we live, baby. Here we go. It is matchup preview time. Before I get into the matchup preview, though, a quick recap of that last week. I absolutely beat the pants off of Jared. I embarrassed him. I humiliated him. I shoved him into the sand, kicked dirt in his face, elbow dropped the back of his neck, took the W. Just an absolute ass kicking on Jared. The rest of it, Tony won, Joe won, Jason won, and Justin won. So there you go. There's your recap from last week. The big thing to think about is that I won. So this week we have potentially the matchup of the year between Sleepy Joe and Sleepy Joe Crusher. You got 1 versus 2 here. The class of the league. The two best teams in the league by far. The rest of you guys are just turds. Joe and I are killing everybody. We have a combined record of 15-5. One of us has got to lose this week. So let's dive in and see who that's going to be. Now, Josh Allen versus Tom Brady this year. Now, you might think that Brady has the slight edge, but you would be wrong in this instance. Josh Allen faces a pass funnel Colts defense that you cannot run on. Tom Brady, meanwhile, plays prime time Monday night bright lights against the New York Giants, who you all might recall kind of own Tom Brady. The Giants kind of beat the shit out of Tom Brady every time they play. So I think Brady, he's going to have those demons in his head. He's going to have Eli Manning whispering to him while he's throwing. You're not going to get it done. Mike Williams is not even playable against Pittsburgh. If Joe was wise, he'd be looking for a different wideout. If I were him, I'd probably play Emmanuel Sanders over Mike Williams. Yes, I have Josh Allen, but at least you offset some of what he's going to do because the Bills are going to throw all over the Colts. You look at Mike Williams versus Stefan Diggs. I mean, what are we even talking about here? Mike Williams belongs in free agency. Stefan Diggs, one of the best receivers in the NFL. Mike Williams has not hit 6 fantasy points since week 5. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks at under 6 points. So, and by the way, he had a blow-up game in week 5, but in week 4, he scored 1 point. So that means he's had one good game in his last 7 weeks. Mike Williams is garbage. Joe should have moved him early. Now, Rashad Bateman versus Justin Jefferson. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, that's Justin Jefferson. But you will be wrong again. Bold prediction, Rashad Bateman outscores Justin Jefferson this week because he's playing my Chicago Bears. And the Bears absolutely cannot defend against wide receivers. They have Jalen Johnson, who's going to be glued to Hollywood Brown. Hollywood's not going to do shit. It's going to be the Bateman show, and I expect him to go kind of buck wild. Brandon Ayuk versus Corey Davis. Who the hell knows? Toss up, flip a coin, no idea. Jonathan Taylor versus Nick Chubb. Now, usually Jonathan Taylor runs away with this, pun intended, but Chubb plays Detroit. So I'm going to give the nod to Chubb here at home against Detroit. Jonathan Taylor with the toughest matchup possible at Buffalo. Still think he does fine, but Dalvin Cook versus Damian Harris. I mean, are we even sure Damian Harris is the starting running back for the Patriots at this point? Ramondre Stevenson looks pretty good, but I'm pretty sure Dalvin Cook is the starting running back for the Vikings. Hawkinson, not really much to talk about here. It's definitely Kelsey. James Robinson versus David Montgomery. We'll see if James Robinson is on my team or not. I have an offer pending to senior that's very fair and equitable, and we'll see what happens there. New England D, San Francisco D, toss up. But of course, I'm going to get the dub, guys. I'm taking Joe down. Now, I went into a little more detail on that one because it is, like I said, it's the matchup of the year thus far. Now, some much lesser matchups. We got Jason versus Tony Sr. in the grudge match. So Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill versus Aaron Rodgers and Deebo Samuel. Now, Deebo is on another level lately, guys. He has been dominant. And this week he gets the Jags, and I expect him to crush the Jags just like he's been crushing everybody else. I also expect this Chiefs-Cowboys game to be a shootout. My bold prediction in this one, Pat Mahomes, QB1 on the week, top 1 QB. I'm expecting 5 touchdowns from Mahomes. 2 of them will probably go to Tyreek. So that's the ugly part of it for Senior. Now, the good part of it for Senior is the rest of Jason's team is basically in shambles. I mean, he's starting 2 members of the Washington football team. He's starting 2 New York Jets. What else do we need to say? I mean, Senior's over here with a barf bag just hearing about this. Joe just lost his lunch. Like none of us can. Joe doesn't like starting 1 jet. You're out there rolling 2 of them. So on Senior side of things, it's going to be rough to overcome Mahomes and Tyreek. However, Amari Cooper at Kansas City should be great. I do expect Kamara back this week. And like I said before about the Ravens-Bears game, I expect Jalen Johnson to basically remove Hollywood Brown from the game. And that leaves Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews to eat against the Bears. Jalen Waddle against the defenseless Jets. Big game coming. This is a toss-up, man, because Mahomes and Tyreek are going to do so well. I mean, I could easily see 60 points out of that combo this week. But I'm going to give the nod to Senior. Senior gets the W anyway because the rest of his team has an advantage over Jason's team. Now, your deepest fantasy versus El Ultimo Bailar. So you got Tony versus Justin. And I mean, Justin is like the Washington defense. He's defenseless. He's like a little baby kitten. He can't take care of himself. I'd be surprised if DeAndre Hopkins suits up. I think Kyler Murray suits up. Chris Godwin should have a pretty good game Monday night, except for, Tom Brady's going to suck. So maybe he will, maybe he won't. The big thing for Justin is, of course, Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey at home against Washington could be a mega play this week because they apparently have learned nothing, and they're going to give him the ball a shit ton of times, whether it makes sense for fantasy or for real life or not. Let's see here. On Tony's side of things, I expect Lamar Jackson to do just fine in a quarterback duel with Justin Fields. By the way, the Bears are winning that game, so you heard it here first. Bears are going to beat the Ravens. DJ Moore is Tony's version of Mike Williams. He's useless. Tony keeps playing him because he did well early in the season, just like Joe with Mike Williams. You're going to keep playing him, even though he knows damn well he's not going to score any points. You got to get these guys out of your lineup. It's not about what he did before. It's about what he's going to do. These guys aren't going to produce. Michael Pittman at Buffalo, brutal matchup. Deontay Johnson, brutal matchup at the Chargers. They have a great set of corners. Zeke, I expect to ball out against KC. But my bold prediction for Tony, AJ Mother effing Dillon is going ham at Minnesota. I'm saying 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. AJ Dillon, just monster effort. And we're back. So, who's going to win this game? Well, obviously, Justin's not going to win. So, Tony gets a bye week this week. So, there you go. Now, you got Reese versus Vetri. And, oh, my God, you are not playing Miles Sanders. He's not going to play, John. He's just because he got designated to return doesn't mean he's returning this week. They have 3 weeks. What are you doing? Stop it. Get him out of your lineup. Now, bold prediction is that Miles Sanders doesn't play this weekend. But maybe he will. We'll see. But even if he does against New Orleans, yuck. Vetri's in a prime spot where he should have traded a wideout. for a running back at some point, but he was never open to it. So his team still sucks. That being said, this is going to be the upset of the week. Vetri is going to knock off Reese. So there's your spoiler alert on how this is going to go. Vetri has his team at full strength relatively. He's got easy matchups, and Reese's team is in absolute shambles. The Rams are on bye. It looks like Cordarrelle Patterson is going to sit. Still rostering Calvin Ridley, who's not going to play. You know, I mean, you look at Reese's bench, the only guy he has that's going to play is Darnell Mooney, and that's because I gave him to him out of the kindness of my heart, because that's the kind of guy I am. No, it had nothing to do with the fact that I was trying to lock down that Niners backfield with the easiest schedule in fantasy down the stretch. No, I was just trying to be a nice guy and help my buddy Reese. So Vetri gets the W. I don't really need to go into any more detail here. Vetri wins this game. Now, Johnny Heyman, the Bears. Love the team name, buddy. And you know what? We're about to go on a run too, man. Versus Check Please. Well, I mean, I'm looking at this thing here. It's tough to pick Jared when he's starting Myles Gaskin. And I get it. He's playing the Jets. I don't give a shit. Myles Gaskin should be in nobody's lineup ever. He sucks. So if only you had a guy like James Robinson to play, you know, but unfortunately you did have him, and now I have him because I am the greatest manager in the history of fantasy. Now, but that's true too. You know, I look at his wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks, Deebo Samuel. Oh, wait, that's not Deebo Samuel. That's T. Higgins. How did that happen? Well, that's weird. Well, at least you still have Trey Sermon for him. Oh, but wait, no, I guess not. Okay, well, you know, that's enough bashing on Jared for now. We're going to move over to the Heyman side of things where we're going to get a little more positive. Jamar Chase is going to take the Raiders' lunch money. Adam Thielen has a storied history of scoring touchdowns on the Green Bay Packers. Najee Harris, easiest RB matchup possible against the Chargers in a smash spot Sunday night. Bold prediction, Najee Harris is going to get 200 yards in this game. 200 total yards between receiving and rushing. En route to Johnny Ha-Ha, Safari John, taking you out and shooting you with the long-range rifle. Heyman gets the W. And last, and I guess that was it, guys. There's your matchup previews, and I will see you guys next week for a recap, perhaps, or will I? Oh, one more thing. Trade deadline is Saturday. So midnight Saturday, that's it. Get your offers in now, guys. Like, we're trying to get this stuff done now. If anybody wants to trade a running back for a wide receiver, go hit up Tony Sr. He's got lots of wideouts, needs some RB help. That's all I got for you guys. Good luck this week to everybody but Sleepy Joe.